Oh, hey there, beautiful people. How's it going? Tonight is another night of career development, and so the clinic is open. I'm gonna share some of the common commands that we have. We have a resume command. ZT is in here. Hello, hello. Ooh, why is that resume command not working? Oh, resume command. Maybe if it'll work. Does it work? No? All right, this is why we test things out. Hi. Okay, so ooh, I don't know. Let me see what's up with Stream Elements here. Should be able to help us with facilitating today's little live stream situation. Okay, so I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Stream Elements, are you there? Does it work for you, CT? Okay. Well, that's fine. I can just moderate. We can just moderate. That's fine. Um, yeah, we'll just do that. I don't know why it's not working today. I heard that that is actually fairly common. And you know what? That's fine because um we have the usual. Oh, there we go. There's Stream Elements. There's also Ariel in chat. Hello, hello, everyone. I'll give it a little minute for everyone to come in. I'm the stream. Oh, there we go. There we go. Stream Elements just had to join. All right. So, as usual, I let anyone who wants a resume review to drop a link to their resume, and then we'll help in any way that we can. And when I say we, I mean me. A little bit more about myself. I'm an engineering manager at a company focused in the media space, media and entertainment space. So I have hired a few times for my team. And if you want perspectives and insights from a hiring manager, that's what this is about. Hi, Tanya. How are you doing? Welcome back. So, we have a couple of commands for tonight. We have resume, Big J's in here as well. And we also have a command for the month of May, which is going to be um, mental health. So this month I'm fundraising for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. So there's gonna be like fun rewards and tears and all the really great stuff. So yeah, yeah. So I'm actually really excited about this because I know that, like we talk about mental health in the work space, and in like social spaces, but it's something else to be able to give back and to also contribute, and put value back into foundations that are actively, working in these areas to help make things better. So that's that. Those are my announcements for today. Um, I love this topic. Yes. So tonight's conversation is going to be around myth busting, programming, and software engineering, and some of the career kind of mindsets that really limit people early on in their careers or even in the long run, too. This was a topic that I spoke about earlier today in a micro conference, so I wanted to bring it here into this space. But we're going to start with resume review. One person sent in 2 resumes. Green Jenny, thank you so much for the follow. Wait, I appreciate you so much for being in here. I hope you're having a great day. Yes. Ariel's doing the little hype emo. I love it. I love it. Welcome in. Yeah. So one person sent in two resumes asking for some help around both a data administration perspective and then also a cybersecurity resume. So we have two resumes going on here, and I just want to go over that fairly quickly, and then we can end with resumes as well. So that will help kind of like make it a little sandwich. It's like a sandwich tonight. So I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly. There is 3 pages or 4 pages, which is quite long for a resume like this. And typically what you can do here is if you're working in Google Docs, you can just enable print layout and you can see what it looks like printed, right? So that's super helpful. This is what it looks like printed, so you can get a good sense of that. And again, I'm gonna start from the top and move down here, and hopefully it can be really helpful. And Schneider, if you're in here, you can rewatch the replay because the VODs are going to be available. So feel free to use any of this advice and take it and improve your resume. So here, the professional survey summary is actually pretty long, I would say. So I'll read it out loud. I am a senior Oracle database administrator with over 8 years of experience with in-depth knowledge and proficiency in backup and recovery, security implementations, database design, monitoring and tuning, migration, upgrades, cloning, and replication. I possesses, there's a little bit of a typo there, remarkable verbal, analytical, and organizational skills. I'm a proven leader. I would say if you're getting to here, you should be able to integrate these into your experiences further down. It's not a summary if you're making general statements about yourself in this way, I would say, because you want to be able to articulate these comments and conversations in person once you get into the door. But I wouldn't say that becoming a proven leader is necessary, or having a motivational management style here. Like some of these information is not what's necessarily going to set you apart or tell your story about how you're unique. And really, that's what you want to do when a hiring manager is skimming over your resume fairly quickly. So I like to tell people in terms of building a professional summary, try to keep it to 1 to 3 sentences. If you're doing any more than that, I would try to skim. I would really, really think about what are you trying to say here and how do you want to tell the story without telling the full story, because the rest of your resume should be able to articulate that. So in a professional summary, what you typically want to do is introduce yourself as what you've done, what you're working towards, and well, who you are, what you've done, and what you're working towards. So here you say, I am a senior database administrator, right? You have done, in-depth work around backup, recovery, all things database design, right? And now you're going to go for XYZ opportunity, right? So think about what you want to, what role you want next, and target that really within that last sentence and pause there. And that should be your professional summary or your bio, in other words. And that's essentially your 30-second pitch. If you're talking to a recruiter has to be able to understand who you are, what you've done, what you're working towards, right? And so that way they can articulate it to a hiring manager. Same thing if you're going to any recruiting events, if you're going to any networking events, that's your 30-second elevator pitch, and I recommend people have that with them. So that's a little bit of some advice there around professional summaries. Like keep it 1 to 3 lines. You can really, I would say, tighten up this area, right? If you're saying backup and recovery, security implementations, that's very general. You may decide that you want to solely focus on data administrator or database or data type work. Sup, Tiff, have a great stream. Thank you, Audie. Thank you. Welcome in. So that's a little bit there, right? And really the next thing that you want to include here. Oh my gosh, we met our follower goal. Hacker Gem. Thank you so much for the follow. Everyone, we're at 340 followers. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the stream. Like I said, this happens every Wednesday night on the East Coast, 10 p.m. my time. And we talk about career development. We also do resume reviews. So if you'd like to have your resume reviewed or you just want to sit and chill, that's totally fine too. Today we're busting myths right after we go over some resumes. So thank you all for being here with with me. See you with the congrats. Thank you, thank you. Let's set a new follower goal. Is it even up on here? I guess it's not. I need to wait. I need to display it at some point. But thank you all. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. Okay, so let's get on to the skills and areas of expertise. So, really, what you want to do here is you want to take these aspects around database administration and database management in general and really highlight them within your uh, previous experience because your areas of expertise will really shine in your background, right? And if you have too many bullet points like this, you can't really, you won't be able to articulate what exactly your deep, in depth expertise is. And you say that this is like your 8 years of experience with in depth knowledge, right? And we want to be able to articulate like what is truly important in terms of being a senior and a database engineer. Why do people want to hire you? So and this is subjective, right? Like what you think is important is what you bring to the table in terms of strengths. You want to be able to articulate that in a resume where a hiring manager is like, this is exactly what we're looking for. Or maybe it's not what they're looking for, but that's your in-depth knowledge, right? So I would take this and really make sure that you highlight this in your professional experience. And we're going to go and talk about how do you have really great bullet points, right? How do we make these bullet points 1 to 2 lines, at most 3 lines, and really be concise about what the impact was, how did you measure it, and what technologies did you use, okay? And how did it relate to the greater business? So we're going to get to that part. I do wish that this was just one section and you go straight into some of the Oracle specific database things. So PL SQL, right? That's the primary query language for database administration. So definitely highlight that. I definitely ignore areas of experience and technical sections whenever I review resumes. It's all about past performance. I like to tell this, that's exactly right. I like to tell this to a lot of people who have longer resumes that really what you want to articulate is career trajectory. Because as much as you can say that, you can say that you know someone or you can articulate everything about yourself, you really can't. Not in a 1 hour, 30 minute to 1 hour interview. No one's going to know everything about you. All they can really see is just your career trajectory and based off of that, guesstimate if you're going to be a good fit for the team or not, based on how you align with the business and your interests and expertise. So I try to tell people to articulate that kind of growth because it is for that. Green Jenny says, I look for achiever patterns. Yeah, in terms of increasing responsibility. Yes. And as a senior, if you're applying, I assume since you're a senior database administrator, you have that senior title, you do want to pursue like another senior level role or maybe a principal role. And that increasing levels of responsibility or scope in terms of what you can own and deliver is going to be really important to articulate. And so I want to be very, very clear about what you need and what you don't need in here. And I would actually, if you're gonna have technical skills and tools, I would break it up because you have little sections in here and it's harder to read. You see that you have ETL tools, so you've done some things in Informatica. If you've done anything with Airflow, that's pretty good too. If not, that's fine. But you want to organize this in a more cohesive way because having two kind of columns down here means nothing, and then having two kind of area sections in here with areas of expertise and skills is not that helpful as well. So think about what you want to have in here, and I would clean it up. Take a look at a couple of job descriptions, and that can help you shape like, okay, what do I want to have first? But like I said, if you're going to be applying for database or Oracle databases specifically, like right, you would probably want P-SQL, the different Oracle databases at the top, right? Anything that's related to databases, and then I would leave things like things that are related to disaster recovery, productionalization, replication into your professional experience. Because if you're doing this, right, that just showcases that you know the entire product lifecycle or database lifecycle, and you can. Oh no, there's an ad. Okay, John says that there is an ad. Yeah, annoyingly, Twitch, it's like not possible to control that. And Twitch plays a bunch of ads for people. I don't know if Ahmad can let John know that. That'd be really great. Thank you, thank you. Can Ahmad just repeat what I said about ads? That'd be super helpful. Thank you, thank you. All right. So in terms of bullet points and professional experiences, what you've done at Target, I would say that there's a couple of things in here that are pretty helpful, right? Like I said, I would bundle like what you did around monitoring, productionalization, implementing, ads, implementing alerts, and that sort of thing. Um, so one way to make them stop. The only way that we can make them stop is for subscribers. But yes, Twitch plays ads, and they're a little bit random in when they play. All right, so um, I would try to group these together in terms of like what you do initially, and then what you do like post productionalization of databases. So really start with I would say like start with like the process. Like if you're automating specific things, like have that towards the end. Monitoring or setting up alerts, have that towards the end, right? But I would say like things like policies, you would need to have those as well. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some general tips around as well, like building out these bullet points because they're very wordy, and you want to write everything in terms of past tense, which you did in previous work experiences, but you didn't for your present one. All right. So I know you did quite a bit of things, but consolidate any areas of database administration. So on the bottom here, you have some work where you created materialized views. That's a lot of data engineering. Hi, Nimbiri. How are you doing? I missed the notification. Oh, no. Okay, okay. I guess there's quite a bit of issues in chat. You all, if you missed the notification, if something cuts out, there is replays available on the stream, so that will be really helpful. Today is the Career Development Clinic. Thank you all. And mods will be here to help out with any issues, or if you all miss anything, they can help facilitate that. So I appreciate ZT and Ariel for being in here. Thank you, thank you. But yes, if you're gonna say this, well, typically, all right. So let's talk about like bullet points. What makes a good bullet point, right? So the first thing is past tense, and you want to pick a really nice word like monitored, implemented, ensured, or uh, you know, those are typically pretty good words. But you want to say what you did, how it relates to the business, and then what tools that you used. So, oh, hi. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. Hi, Raximus. How are you doing? Thank you for being in here. So that's how you want to typically structure the bullet points. And I said this in last week's stream as well. Like you want to have um, that experience. So, if you supported daily administration and monitoring on single instances, like say this supported data administration and, life cycle of servers in production for XYZ using or servers, servers on Linux and Windows servers, so and so, right? So you want to have like three components, right? What you did. Thank you, Nimbiri, for the sub. 2 months now. What? 2 months. Thank you, thank you. All right. So what did you do to what did you do, right? What was it for? And what technologies did you use? What was relevant, right? So you can say you supported, Target's mission for high available services, um, for single instance Windows and Linux/Unix servers, right? And that can be helpful. That may not be your strongest point either. And if it isn't telling you the story of what you're trying to pursue, like if you're pursuing a principle, then I would just leave it out because it may be implied that you do this work, and I would just remove that at that point. Things like experience doesn't really help add to the story. Like I said, you wanna tell like a cohesive story around, what did you exactly do, what were the kinds of projects that you were built in, that you were a part of, right? Because that will help you, even in behavioral interviews during the interview process, be able to talk about them as if you're reading off your resume and it's like a sort of like an outline. That's all a resume really is. It's just an outline of you. What were your major achievements? What were your accomplishments? It's like Jenny had said earlier, like she looks for achiever, he or she, or they look for achiever type accomplishments, right? Someone who understands that when they contributed to something, that it was actually tied to a business initiative or some type of prioritization, like it had some meaning. And that's what makes people excited and good at what they do, right? People who aren't just building code or aren't just coding in a silo where no one understands their code or never sees production or never has an impact, right? That's not what we're here for. That's not what people build teams for. So it's really helpful to be able to articulate that back to the business wherever you can. So I encourage you to do that and really be tight about it, right? Like for these experiences, you shouldn't have more than, I would say, like 3 to 4 bullet points for each experience. Because again, a manager can't understand like fully what your deep expertise is if you're an expert in everything. And they're really hiring you for, like that experience, yeah, but they want to be able to understand that you can break down the concepts and prioritize things effectively. So you need to be able to articulate that in your resume as well. You've done some things with RMAN. I'm not from like again, I'm not a database administrator. Stretch our eyes. Hey, how's it going? If you want to join the queue for the resume, just leave a link in the chat and then we'll get to it. There's no command for a list, and I haven't made a queue or anything. I just keep track of it myself. So. And mods can articulate that as well. But thank you for being here tonight. Welcome in. If it's a Word doc, you can share it. Like I said, all I do is if it's a Word doc, I go into print. Oops. I go into print layout and you can see what it looks like, and that's how I read it. So it's totally fine. If it's a Word doc, just put it into a Google Doc. It's okay. It's okay, Ariel. It's all right, Franz. We just recently got like a lot of commands, so if you see any issues or whatnot, mods can take care of it and clean up chat as they need to. But yes, if y'all need any of the commands, just use the as well the stream title. Yeah. All right. So again, same thing here. It doesn't mean anything to say that, you utilize a certain framework. Like I can say I used Agile, but it doesn't really matter as long as if I don't tie it back to the business impact, right? I used Agile or I took over project management for my team so that I could help them with advance their career development and also deliver innovative data solutions, right? You need to have that context of like, what did you actually do besides Agile? So be a little careful with the language. And I always tell people this, like, even if you need to take a look at this and trim every little bit of it 1 hour at a time or one review session at a time. Do that because you'll get to a point where you read your resume and you're like, I'm the shit. And that's the point. That's the point of these resume reviews, and even just having a resume that you feel comfortable with. I would also say that, in terms of, length, you want to dwindle this down. So, your education can be one line, right? Give it some formatting, make it look nice, have a little bit of formatting here. Same thing with your certifications. I would also order them in the order that you would like to have them. Again, I'm not sure if you are applying for any roles that require security clearance. If you do, that may be useful to, have certain compliance certifications, certain experiences further up within your bullet points or further up within your resume, because I see this and I'm mostly not going to look at it. Like, I'm not going to look past one page, and this tells me enough that there's a couple of things that you're missing in terms of being able to articulate and structure your thoughts. So you want to clean that up, even if it's not true. I'm not saying that that's true. I'm just saying that you should be very, very concise in your resume, because this is literally one shot for you to have a conversation. And oftentimes, like, when we're in person, that's all we have. We have 30 seconds to impress someone before they turn around and they talk to the next person, right? So you want to be able to do that, and you want to start with that summary. And once you get really clear on those three things that I mentioned around who you are, what you've done, and what you're working on, what's your passion, right? Once you get really, really clear on that, I want you to target those things specifically in these sections and keep it concise. Like I said, follow that 1 to 3 line rule, right? 3 lines here, 3 lines here. Even if you have to have 3 little sections and it's just a list, that's what you'll do. Same thing here, professional experience, three bullet points, 3 to 4 bullet points. Same thing here, 3 to 4 bullet points. And then this, for earlier experiences, right? You can have anywhere from 1 to 2, or like 2 bullet points. That's fine. It doesn't matter. But it shouldn't be, and your conversations shouldn't be very, very long. I don't see any like red flags, but again, fix up how you're talking about your experiences as well. Tie it back to the business. I don't want to see, I wouldn't want to see things like, system, this methodology. And I did this, like it doesn't say anything, and doesn't add to the value. So that's all there for that database administrator resume. The same person sent in another resume all about a security role. So this one's shorter, but again, like I said, it shouldn't be 2 pages. Keep this to 1 page. Again, too long, three sentences. You have a couple of publications here. I would just link to them, like get an online portfolio where you link to them, and that's what you would have. Tanya passed in a resume, and we'll add that to the list. Thank you, Tanya. All right. So here you have IT help desk technical intern from 2019 to 2020. If you're looking for a security analyst type role, I would encourage you to actually have some of the data expertise built into here. Too long, can't read. Too long, can't read. Yeah. I would leave this, like anything that your technical intern, your help desk internship actually may not be that relevant in terms of security, because I actually don't see too many things that are related to security specifically. Actually, your Oracle database resume, where you were talking about setting up monitoring, setting up like not SLAs, setting up or productionalizing databases, writing scripts, that may be more helpful to you in terms of IT analysts than this technical internship that you have here. Again, if you want to keep it, that's fine. I would just knock it down to 1 or 2 at most bullet points. No worries, stretch mark eyes. No worries. All right, we have stretch mark eyes up next for the resume review. All right, so same thing with skills. Like, this is not going to help. Microsoft Word is not going to help you get a job per se, unless you're doing .NET development or you're doing .NET development for Microsoft. I would say the same thing for some of these. Like, I would say I would try to get a little bit more math specific. Like, depending on the role, you may need some like knowledge around internet protocols and like core security concepts. So think about that and how you can implement that into your into your work experience. And again, if you're missing a little bit on the work experience side, I would also think about maybe showcasing a project. So that's something that you can do there. And Tanya, thank you so much for the sub. Subscribe at 1 tier. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. You all can use emotes if you're subscribed here. We have cute emotes. This is the last resume here for Schneider. I hope that this was helpful, Schneider. You let me know. You have some really nice experiences here, right? I would just clean it up so that it really does shine. And same thing with what you're doing right here, right? Really think about like what do you want to say about yourself that stands out, right? If you've been a part of the DoD space, if you've been a part of, various institutions, like talk about those at a high level. Like if you've worked at healthcare, if you've worked in enterprise, like you can talk about that. Like you're a proven administrator, you're a proven data professional across multiple industries or multiple verticals, right? Like talk about that. That's something that I talk about a lot as well. Is like, I'm a data engineering manager, but in the past, I've worked on cloud native software development and DevOps, and so I know what it takes to help teams and technologies deliver the best services and the best experiences possible. So that's kind of how I talk about it, and I say that I've been a part of startups, I've been a part of other things, so you can also articulate it in that way, and I encourage you to do that and think about how you want to talk about these concepts, especially with other professionals that are gonna be interviewing you, right? Because again, like if you're applying for an analyst role or you're applying for security or wherever you're applying, like enterprise, you're gonna be talking to people who are doing that work. So being able to understand them, even if you don't initially, being able to use like each part of the interview process or each part of the career development journey that you're going on to be able to inform how you articulate certain concepts and how you even articulate about yourself, that's super helpful. So that's like a nice segue into what Stretch Mark Eyes was saying is like, sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe I don't have enough experience or maybe like this isn't perfect, and it's not going to be. It's not going to be. So I do want to let you all know about that. I think we had, who did we have first? Ariel says Stretch Mark Eyes was first. Okay. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, let's do a couple more resume reviews and then we'll get into some myth busting because I'm really excited to bust some myths and to talk about career development some more. I am gonna get these into my screen. Just give me 1 second so that we can do that. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I know that it's getting to that season where there's a lot of hiring at the moment, and I think that's also really important in terms of having resumes looked at and whatnot as well, because it's helpful to just be with the seasons as well, like understand when there's hiring spikes and make the most out of it, like like I said, use each rejection, use each process, use each resume review as a learning experience, and you'll grow a lot faster than you think that you do. And oftentimes I do the same thing, like I'll take interviews even when I'm not looking for jobs because I want to practice articulating like my knowledge. I want to also learn from other people who are doing the work. Hey Noelle, how's it going? Hello, hello. All right, so Shishmark says Tanya can go first, so I will be respectful of that, and we can do that. Let me just pull up those resumes. I got a new drink. It's this Body Armor Light Peach Mango drink. It's not. This is not sponsored, by the way. My updated link. Okay, you got a new updated link for us. I will copy that in. All right. I got a new drink and well, it's not even new, but it's new to me. And so hopefully it tastes pretty good, honestly. Not gonna lie, it tastes pretty good. So I'm pretty happy about that, but I should drink more water. Do y'all drink electrolytes? I had a headache earlier today, So I'm hoping it'll go away. I'm hoping it'll go away. We'll see if it actually does or doesn't. All right. So got another resume here. And Tanya, you can let me know what kind of role she's looking for, and that can help as well. I used to drink that with alcohol when I was working at Amazon warehouse. Oh my gosh. Does it work? I guess that, you know what? That's the thing. If you're going to be drinking, drink some electrolytes. All right, all right. So, Tanya, if you want to give me extra feedback, you can do that. I love this. It's one page. Uh, it says, Glenda is a bilingual administrative and quality assurance professional passionate about digital marketing management and promoting cross cultural knowledge and best practices. So the only thing that I would say here is it's good, but you want to be a little bit more specific about who you are right here, because professional is also very like a very loose term, I would say. So, hydrate, yes. She's looking to moving to digital marketing from administrative. Oh, okay, okay. I see. Okay. Great. So I would be really careful here and just try to share that, you're coming from like an admin or like in a yeah, I would say like your you're a professional assistant passionate about digital. I would leave digital out, honestly. I'd say I would say, hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm an experienced professional assistant, right? Passionate about marketing and creating, you know, best, digital products. Like I would get really, I would really like think about what this articulates and see if you can drive it home a lot harder. And I'll come up. I think I'll have something here as you go into here, because digital marketing, that this whole space around SEO, like this is really great. Like I would, if you're gonna have SEO here, I would have, or you're gonna have digital marketing, I would have SEO first, right? And then I would have Google Analytics, Google Ads, and then I would have WordPress or CMS systems, advertising, and then AWS Cloud Essentials. So I would organize it in that way. And then in terms of administrative methodologies, I would say administrative methodologies, Six Sigma, Kaizen. You can even throw in Agile if you want to, because nowadays a lot of teams will utilize Agile. And then you can go Microsoft Suite. I'm not familiar with Edison FileNet, but you can have those in there too. I'm not familiar with ADT as well. So think about that, and then I would just remove this. And if your mom is looking at other job descriptions, and you see certain skills, I would add that because I feel like you may have some things around like, remote work, um, you know, if you have something around Zoom, like Jira, project management, that sort of thing. So that would be really great. L2 is in here. Hello, I just saw your channel. I have a project. Would you like to answer a few of my questions since I'm in search for a programmer slash developer? Yes. L2, if you can let us know some more context around that, we can answer your question. But tonight we are doing resume reviews and then we're myth busting some common stigmas around career development. So it's a little bit tight tonight. But if not, like we have these sessions every Wednesday. This happens every Wednesday. And big shout out to all of you all who graciously, offer up your resumes. And let this be a conversation. Like, let this actually help other people as well, because that's how we all get better. Like, being able to review a bunch of resumes like gives you an opportunity to find a style that works for you and a good way to communicate your experiences for yourself. So, this space is really great for that, and I want you all to utilize that every week. So, yeah, I appreciate it. All right. So, I would move education further down because this is really great education, and actually that's going to give you the sense that this is going to give the hiring manager a sense that you have a strong foundation. But I would lead with the experience aspect of it. And then close out with the fact that, like, oh, on top of all these really great experiences that I've had professionally, I also am well educated and I've done many things. All right. So, all right. So, in terms of experience, I would say move this further up. You've done they've done variety of things, including um, administrative assistance, right? This is really good, actually. I like the way that this is organized. It's really clear, and I like that you have the roles first. I tell people that all the time that if you lead with the roles, it gives them a good sense of what you can do. So, um, provided ongoing administrative support to clients while ensuring the success of the company by managing everyday operations and special initiatives. Yeah, I would make this last part stronger because this starts off really good around like I would even say something stronger than provided, like led administrative support and like administrative support across the organization because she was a part of the Department of Human Resources. So I would say like supported, DHR. I don't know if that's the acronym. Supported DHR initiatives and clients by managing everyday operations and special projects including XYZ. Like drop into that skills aspect of it, right? If you have skills in analytics, if you have skills in SEO, if you have skills in project management or Six Sigma, right? Integrate that in here because that's really going to drive home that you've integrated those skills. They're not just skills, they're actual hard proven experiences, right? Like it's not skills in the sense that you've tried this out theoretically, you've actually integrated them. All right. So here, you don't want to use this phrasing as well. Served is a little bit of a passive term, I would say. You can say that you managed or you scaled the average of inbound calls to from XYZ to something else each day by, you know, setting best practices or creating templates, right? Because you did more than answer questions and resolve issues. You couldn't average 30 inbound phone calls each day if you didn't have some type of process. So go back to that process aspect of it because that will also help you in terms of digital marketing. Because in digital marketing, a lot of things are, right, automated, practiced. So that's great. All right. QA, HR specialists. I would write this out. Um, I would write this out. If you're in QA, qualitative assurance, or it can mean a lot of different things, QA. So spell it out. And then you can drop the human resources if that doesn't tell the story very well, and you can say like you were just a specialist. Um, you can also like change some of the title to make it. I mean, if you're a specialist or if you're in human resources and you led anything, I would kind of think about like how you talk about your experience too. Like if you go into an interview and you're talking about your experiences, you can say that you manage things too, especially if you did, because it seems like you did here, like you co-managed. I would say you did more than co-manage. And think about that. I would also move this further down. I tend to move like awards and accolades towards the bottom. But yeah, if you were managing or you were implementing, I would move those towards or not implementing, but if you were awarded any victories, move it towards the bottom. Oh, sorry, L2. Right now, this space is gonna be for for resume development, but you can feel free to reach out to me and that sort of thing. We can talk about it if it fits. But again, like this space specifically is to help other people, and I want to really be focused in on that. But thank you for your offer. We can talk about it if it makes sense. But again, like I want to make sure that we stay really focused tonight. And you all like I really do want to appreciate these spaces and make sure that they're really helpful. Thank you for the follow, Rick. I appreciate you being in here. I appreciate you all being in here, especially making it a space that can be really helpful for other people that are following along. Jazzy Cakes, that is such a nice username. Hello, hello. Thank you. Tanya's here to put pineapple on pizza. I love it. Thank you so much for the follow, L2. Hope you're having a great day. Good luck on your project. All right. Um, assisted management. Yeah, I would try to be careful about the words like assisted, provided, because they are more of like and I know this is quite easy to fall into in terms of like being an assistant or even being in like any servant leadership positions. Like oftentimes like some managers may also say that they served or they assisted, when in reality they did a lot more than that. They really did lead. They really did look at the processes to automate them, to make them better. They thought about the entire thing because they had the time to think about that. They had this higher level perspective because as an assistant or even as a manager, when you're not individually contributing to specific work, you have the chance to actually like influence a lot more decisions. You get to set more of a mission and a vision. You get to organize work, and that is actually really meaningful. And really like your success is often seen through the lens of other people's success, right? And sometimes when you articulate it in that way, it doesn't showcase like what you actually did. And I really want to encourage Glenda to focus in on like what you did because you didn't get all of these successes. You didn't win championships just by sitting in the room and supporting someone else. No, you had your own ideas. You probably ran a couple of meetings. Like if you're not the one who organized them or thought of them, I mean, you contribute a lot to them. I suspect, especially from the way that you did this. And I would move any marketing pitches and conversations and brainstorming, like move those further up, right? If you did anything related to SEO, if you have any projects related to SEO, like make sure you have that in there. SEO is its own specialization, like especially within digital marketing. Most times people will hire a dedicated SEO manager. So if you're a digital marketing manager and or leader, you have to know like at least some bits of that, right, of the SEO game. And so showcase that. You also have a variety of certifications, right? And that will help really organize that too. And if you want to remove the dates and the locations for those educations, that's fine too. So that's one way that you can make this cleaner as well. So I would move education further down, and then with that experience aspect of it, really look at the first kind of bullet point here. I really like how you're talking about these experiences, but again, like if you're gonna have general terms like initiatives every day, right? Think about how you can replace that with the specific skills that you have up here that are going to tell that story. So that's just a little advice there. I hope that was helpful. We're going to move on to the next resume that we have up. Thank you all for being patient with the list. I will continue on. I think we have stretch mark eyes next, and then I'm scrolling up to find this. Maybe we should have a list command. We have Rolly. Okay. I have found my way back up, chat, and I will find my way back down. Yes, and if anyone needs to remove any information, feel free to do that as well. I ask everyone to remove anything that they do not want to have publicly shared, so. You can even give yourself a fake name, that's fine. Yeah. So I let people know to, I think it's in the resume comment as well. If you all need to move anything, feel free to. I don't know who you all are. I just do I do the reviews. Alrighty. Posture check for me. All right, Jazzy Cakes. Yes. So we only review people who drop in their resume. All right. So I have some education here. Um, yes, in computer science, and then technical projects, and then I assume that this is going to be general. No, I assume that this is going to be more data related, data or machine learning related. I appreciate your help, Tiff. Thanks. No problem. I hope that that was really useful. That was a good resume. I think there's little pieces that you can clean up on, and then it'll be great. Yeah, and good luck to your mother for that. Joyfulness says hi. Hi, Joyfulness. How are you doing tonight? Shushmark I says, I am fresh out of college, so I guess it's more general. All right. So one thing that I like to tell recent graduates is to move your coursework and move your education further down because it's most likely that you will not stand out through your education and your related coursework. Um, there are certain coursework that I would say that is particularly appealing in terms of hiring manager, right? So that is one thing that you can that you've done well in the sense that you've articulated, all right, I took artificial intelligence, I took algorithms, I took image processing and natural language processing. So that tells me like a few things, right? As a hiring manager, you're I wouldn't say that you're particularly keen on front end development based off of the coursework that you had picked out, right? If anything, I suspect that you enjoy working in Python and more back end systems, if anything, right? So that's quite interesting from my perspective, and I would like kind of bucket you into that area, or if there was like a computer vision or type or work that's quite related to like that's more like math based, that would be a good fit for you. Like one of my friends, actually a close friend of mine, um, took classes that were similar like this, and he called that out, and then he ended up working at MATLAB, and then he eventually moved to a researcher role. So there is some aspects that you can integrate there. Kailoto's in here. Hi. Y'all are educated. That's the thing. You all are so talented. And that's the purpose of these resume like guides. It's not to tell you to do more work. It's not anything like that. It's just to organize what you have so far and really make it concise. And Stretchmark guys, you have a master's degree too. So I suspect like you can remove introduction. I mean, I'm not sure what master's courses you took, but um you can convey more expertise through some of the coursework there. All I got is a bachelor's and a $10 Taco Bell coupon. Hey, $10 Taco Bell coupons are quite rare, I suspect. I mean, most things at Taco Bell aren't even $10. So I freaking love it. Rick says first streamer I've seen that does this kind of assistance. I think it's so cool. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I thought that it would be really helpful. The last role that that I hired for, we had over 240 resumes, and so I went through. For better or worse, don't do this if you're a hiring manager. Please rely on your recruiter or your team if you have a team. But I went through the resumes, and I saw a lot of patterns and things that like set certain candidates out from others, and I wanted to be able to like, share all of this. So No, no, no. You're good. You're good. You're good. And like I said, like in terms of skills, like have a skills section. You know, if you want to call out what kinds of roles you like this is what I use the skills section for. Like if I know that I want the next like year or so to be about Python, then I'll put Python first and I'll not pray. I'll apply spray and play pray sorry, I'll apply for roles that have Python listed as the primary skill for the for the role. So do those things. Redley is here saying hello, Tiff, in chat. Are we reviewing resumes? Yes, and if you would like to have your resume reviewed, just drop a link to it and feel free to remove anything that you need to remove for that. Noel codes. Yeah, there's so many people with different backgrounds, and that's the thing is like there last week we even reviewed a resume, Danny Thompson's first resume that he d- that he developed in order to get his first role in tech, and he didn't have any like prior education around tech. I don't think he even graduated. That was one of the things. Yeah. So a lot of people with diverse backgrounds being able to help each other in this area, and I think it's good to share those diverse backgrounds. So that's what this session's for. Wait, we have 20. Wait, we have $20 in the mental health. Oh, wait, what? Oh my gosh. Who donated? Why didn't it tell me? I wish it would tell me. Okay, wait, I gotta check this. ZT, thank you for the donation. By the way, friends, if this month we're donating proceeds to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want to do something special. And so, if you all donate, there's also like different rewards and guidelines, and we're gonna do some really fun things for the stream. And I think later this month we'll do a dedicated stream around mental health, and we'll make it really fun. So, yeah, I hope that's helpful. But again, like I do these career development clinics every Wednesday night, Wednesday my time, so 10 p.m. Eastern. And every other weekday, I stream various things. I'm a variety streamer, so any video games from indie to card games and all the jazz, we do that. And tomorrow I'm streaming something a little bit different, a little bit fun. It's called A Thoughtful Thursday, and I'm going to be doing tier lists for different things. So if you want to know how I rate emojis and different fashion items, that's tomorrow. So it's just good vibes. So if y'all enjoy this, like I'm around on Twitch and I love it here. So thank you all for being here with me. All right. So we're gonna do this. Yeah, Thoughtful Thursday. Uh-huh. I hope no one gets offended by my tier listing. It's super fun. I've been putting it together myself, my own templates. And shout out to Ariel for helping us. Is there time to drop my resume or is it too late? No, it is not too late, you all. We are gonna I will close it in the next like 15 minutes or so we can get through the rest of the content. But yeah, if you drop in your resume, and even if yeah, and if you all have to go or dip out anytime, like I said, the replays are available. I'm already offended by your tier list. You haven't even seen my tier list. Eggplant is S tier. I'm gonna kill them. Oh my gosh, yes. So that'll be exciting. See you both tomorrow. Yes. So if you have to dip out, that's fine. And again, I do this every week. So, there's also next week if you want to be added first for next week. Just let me know. Yes, and ZT is dropping some more information about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So you can all do that. So yeah, you can share your resume in the chat. You can also whisper it to me. Emojis for flirting. Yes, that's what we're gonna be targeting. All right, not to get distracted, because I'm sure Stretchmark Eyes is waiting for our feedback here. Um, a couple of things around technical projects. I would say move these further up. Like I said, education and coursework is not particularly going to make you stand out. All it is just telling someone a little bit more context for you. I would say skills can be its own section if you needed to. Yeah, and you said that you needed new sections. I would have a skill that a dedicated skill section and have any of the frameworks that you've been working with. You know, if you've been doing some natural language processing, you know, if you've done anything with BERT, have that. You know, like have the frameworks, you know, like I said, if you're interested in Python, have Python first, and then have like the different natural language processing um, uh, libraries. If you did image processing and you did CV and you use CV2, have that on your resume, right? Like that's a good way to build out the skills section and be specific about those skills, right? Like you can have computer vision as its own section, natural language processing as its own section, and then that will probably inform like what you actually want to have here in terms of coursework. Like you don't even have to describe the coursework for me to understand what these courses are, right? So I would remove that and then just make these underlined bold words, these course titles, a list. Like make it a comma separated list, and you're good. Just like you did with skills here, do that for your coursework, and that should be enough. And that should be like literally the last line in your resume. So that's pretty good. And then in terms of technical projects, I would not attach them to particular courses. You know, if you have links to your code and you're allowed to share it, or you can set up like a, you know, like a Google Drive link or like a GitHub link, like a private link or something to it, you can link it. And that could be a good way for someone to understand like how you write code or how you approach problems. That's one way to do it. And then I like your student involvement activities. I would try to organize this in terms of your role in that. So, you know, here you said you were part of the website team. I don't know what work that you did in terms of the website design. Maybe you're a front end engineer or you're just a regular software engineer. I would put software engineer, comma, badger loop, and then have that description, right? And again, like I said, you can say this or you can say like what technologies you used. So you can say you designed the website alongside a team and you did it with XYZ skills, right? So that's how you can do that. Thank you for the follow, Soy Sleepy. I love I love that username. That's so cute. Thanks for coming in here. Jazzy Cake says, any recommendations on what self-taught resumes should look like? Yes, so if you look at last week's replay of the career development clinic, we started with a resume that was from a developer that was self-taught, and he had a really great example of what it could look like, and I gave some additional tips on top of his initial resume there. So Jazzy Cakes, you can take a look at that, and it's literally the first 5 minutes of the replay. For whatever reason, audio cut out the first like 1 minute where I was saying hi to people, so skip over that, but it's there. Stretchmark Ice says, I have a lot of confidence issues. Okay, we can talk about that as well. You know, I think a lot of times we can feel like we didn't have too much that made us stand out, but this is exactly what I mean. Like you have technical projects that you did. You did some work with filtering, with search algorithms. Those are really like heavy core like concepts that a lot of people wish that they had experience in. Also, Soy Sleepy, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome into chat. Um, Congrats. There are cute emotes for anyone who subs. And again, like, I think you have an ad-free experience. And if you join our Discord, there's a special role in the Discord for anyone that's subbed. So lots of great things to come for our dear supporters of the channel. My experience is GitHub and published projects are very big for getting your foot in the door. It is. So wherever you can link to that would be really great. And then same thing with your experience here with Engineers Without Borders, right? Like you went above and beyond to give back to the community and to utilize your skills, right? So you did a lot here. So, you know, you can even spin this from a standpoint that you helped with the design or collaborated with the design. Like you can say architected, like, you know, and same thing with like helping with fundraising. Like that's that requires a lot of coordination. So spin it from a project management standpoint, that you understand what it takes to work with other people and manage multiple, factors related to a design, right? Like those are good things to articulate too. And that's how you can talk about it maybe not per chance. I wasn't really that helpful in terms of how you can structure it in your whoops, and you all can't even see this, in terms of your um resume, but you can actually talk about it when you're in these interviews, and that's how you can do it. So that's some ideas for you there. I hope that this was helpful. We're gonna move on to our last resume so far, unless anyone else wants to drop in their resumes in the next few minutes. All right, I'm gonna pull up the last resume that we have tonight, and it's from Rolly. So Rolly, if you're still in here, this is going to be yours. And I love the name. I love the pseudonym. All right. Awesome. Pega Pig. Very nice, very nice. All right. So, Pega has a couple of work experience here, and a couple of places, right? Senior software engineer at Indeed, SoundHound, Microsoft, and then lead experiences other places, and then skill sets further down. I would move skill sets further up. If you can, I probably would get rid of the rating that you have here and just sort this list into by like expertise. So if C++ and .NET is your specialty, have those initially at the front, and anything that's related to that in that kind of line, in that kind of description. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Right. Let me not be rude. um, ZT says that they really enjoy the resume look. I would say I would organize them by strengths and go from there. And in terms of like applying for very specific roles, and being opinionated about what kinds of technologies that you like to utilize or work with, you can even drop ones where you don't feel that comfortable, or you're not particularly interested in developing those skills. I say this because you have a lot of experience and you may be more opinionated about what you work on than someone who's per se like just starting out. No, it isn't even worth having ratings for that. Like I said, especially as someone who has a lot of experience, who's led, you know what it takes to deliver a good product. You know what it takes to work with a team. So you don't particularly need to feel like you have to quantify your skill sets, if that makes sense. Like I said, I would just I would keep, like right now this probably takes like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, over 12 lines of your resume, or of page space, and really your skill set could be very concise, and that can save you space and help keep this closer to one page. I'm fairly certain you can keep this to one page. I would leave personal information out, and maybe replace it with a short summary at the top here, where you take one key takeaway from each paragraph here and have it as your summary. So you can say that you're a professional um, software developer who enjoys you know programming, solving complex or enterprise challenges within the space, and you're excited about whatever next initiative, right? So you like the visualization and the coloring. Okay, so one thing that you can do that would be helpful as well is if you want to, you can keep this. What you can do is break this up a little bit more. Like, if it feels very stale, like everything's sort of like in this space, what I like to do is I like to play with like the formatting a little bit. So you see how like in the top here you have everything kind of centered, like everything's centered in terms of everything that's blue is centered. You can move it to the left and then spread your resume out a little bit more. So, the dates, these dates, 2019 to present, can be on the right. Your title can be on the left. Like that's one way that you can do it. And that can make it more, it can make it feel more easy to read, like more dynamic. So that's one thing that you can do there too. But yeah, think about how you lay out the information, because there are nice ways to like incorporate like your personality and your color scheme and whatever it is that you want to articulate about yourself in a resume, where it doesn't feel like, okay, this may be too much, or it doesn't add to my story. So yeah, you'll come up with it. And like I said, like everyone here knows what they're 50-50 about, or what they're on the edge about. Like the reason why I tell you or call it out here is because it helps you all think about it again if you want to actually keep it or not. So that's what it is. I kind of want some color now, Ariel. I love it. Yeah, I like having color in my resume too. I tend to go black and white for the most part. But like there are accents, like I said, like, your page dividers is one way. Your sections can be a way that you also incorporate that. But just be mindful of how you do it. And I really like how these bullet points are quite um, to the point, and that there's not too many of them. We've had a couple of resumes here today where you all had a lot more descriptions for your work, and a lot of times you want to really focus in on like what story you're telling. So I like this aspect, and I'm going to give it a little read. So you contributed to architecture and planning of ad science infrastructure after several reorgs, working to create a system where multiple teams can work independently on bidding. Okay, so I would clean this up by saying like I don't know if you led the architecture redesign, but you can maybe think about like how you contributed to it exactly. Oops, let me just move this into am I in why am I in suggest mode? I don't want to be in suggest mode. I just want to be in read mode. It won't let me. All right. So with other data science engineers, develop training data and model to generate embeddings, allowing generation of user segments automatically, with the goal to replace maintained manual segments. And then you built an ad view tool in React, pulling data from disparate sources to present a clear interactive view of the ads timelines, and interactive custom built AM chart graphs. So this is really interesting work that you did. And it branched out not only in the sense that you were doing full stack development, but like specifically focused in on the data science aspect of it. So, if you're applying for your next role and it is going to be data science heavy, I would probably just call this a data science role, because that's what it sounded like. Like you were literally a part of the training process. Like you were helping generate embeddings, like well, I assume like deep learning embeddings, right? Like for transformers. So that kind of work is very specific. And I would think about like, okay, what kind of role do I want next, and I would really kind of customize it from that perspective, because you did a bunch of things here. You also created a ad view tool in React, so that's quite a bit of front end there. So yeah, I would say like if you wanted to better like summarize your experience at Indeed, I would say like you delivered and led, you know, something basically through multiple like several reorg, like you don't have to even say several reorgs here. I would just try to focus in on like what you did. And then this was like, at bidding, which I assume is like ad bidding or something maybe. But be specific about like that technology or that side of the business, and say that you contributed and planned infrastructure specifically for like a org or something. Yeah, some of the details feel a little washy. Okay. Ban Chan, thank you for the follow. Hello, everyone. Hi. I'm missing chat a little bit here. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what will help is if you have a skills section that's that's before your experience. So when a hiring manager is reading this, they can get a good sense of like who you are and what you did. And honestly, I couldn't tell that from your skill set from here, to be honest. you 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 rated some of your skills pretty low. And I felt like, you did quite a bit around data and there was nothing to reflect that. So that's quite interesting for me. But having your skill set further up can help guide like what you talk about in your experience. So I would try to think about that. But we can move on. I'm sure you have a better understanding of how you want to utilize or utilize the feedback and change things. Why is this drink making me so thirsty? I need to drink some water. I do tailor the skill set based on the job I'm applying to, actually. Yes. And you may have like multiple resumes, to be honest, because the way that I see your resume, it's like quite a bit of things. Like you can go for a more general data or more general data science type role where you talk about this, like, and this would actually be really good. Like this, I would say, is like a data science role, just because you talked about maybe in the wrong order per se if you want to go data science route, but like typically for data science roles, right, you focus on obtaining the data, cleaning it, training it, right? Training the model, developing the model, and that there's a whole life cycle around it. But also like understanding performance and then setting up the infrastructure, the productionalization of it. And so you did all of those aspects to different degrees, right? Right? Or, well, right? But you still did that work. So if you are applying for that kind of role, you can even like spin it from the standpoint that you're a software engineer that is an experienced tech lead that has moved into the data science space. And then you can build out a whole resume around, embeddings, transformations, natural language processing, whatever else that you've done. So that's one example of how you can go. But if you're gonna stick like the software engineering route, I would really focus in on like that full stack aspect. So I would say like maybe you move like certain front end work further up. But yeah, it's good to typically start like as a senior software engineer, talk about how you led or what responsibility did you have within the team, and then go build out that scope. It's hard to say what I want without winding up too wordy. It is. And the way that I help people do that is, you pick one strong verb, like architected this solution for, this business with XYZ technology. So, when you can say developed training data and machine learning models to generate embeddings for user segmentation, with TensorFlow, Airflow, whatever it is, right? Whatever you used, and then boom, done. So that's kind of like a nice pattern or template for being able to articulate what you did without having it be too wordy. But again, like the nice thing is like this is just a summary. So when you actually get in to the interviews and you're talking about it, you're like, oh yeah. And then there were several reorgs and challenges with the team. And these conversations will obviously like most of the time expose themselves because managers are asking you questions about how have you worked with the team in the past, or how did you lead the organization, or even like, oh, can you tell me more about your experience at Indeed. Sometimes it can be very like a softball question, where someone tells you like, hey, can you tell me about this, and you're like, yeah, of course I can, because when a manager or like an interviewer throws a very abstract question or open-ended question like that, I see it as an opportunity for you to be able to shift the interview or shift the conversation towards your strengths and your experience. And you can't do that all the time, but for interviews that are like that, that's your opportunity to do that. And honestly, it's really great because that's what you want to do in interviews. Like you want to highlight your strengths, you want to highlight your career trajectory in your own ways, and if it really fits with a manager or with a team, they'll be able to see that. and that's how you get the roles that are really meant for you. And that's what I encourage people to do. So, um, in terms of like questions that are softball like that, it's good to be able to have like a resume that is very concise because you can just simply like look down a little bit, know what you're going to say, and then articulate, that experience. And that's what it's meant to be. And that's why resumes are so hard to build, right? Like we have to think about like, what does this mean? How do we do things, right? So that's something that I tell people all the time in terms of building that out. All right. Yeah, and I would replace kicked off. Oops. I'm always double tapping. So at SoundHound you kicked off the Japanese version of the NLU platform. I would spell that out, implementing key-based functionality such as I would just say I would remove keybase unless that's a specific term. I would just say that you delivered features. You delivered and implemented, or yeah, you developed features. Um, you can even be very general with it if you don't want to share too much about it. And then you can say you onboarded developers as part of a team and grew it from 1 to 7 engineers. That's pretty good. I don't know what kick. I wouldn't start this with kicked off. Um, there's another word. Um, like you can say launched. Because it sounds like you worked with a product team to do this. So maybe you integrate some aspects around like key stakeholders, because there's kind of two bits around here, right? There's that product side, and then there's the feature development and iteration. Yeah, I figured you were the first developer. Yeah. You can say you onboarded and grew the team from 1 to 7 engineers, that sort of thing. I had a similar experience with my. Oh, yep. See, so then I would say it. I would say that. Yeah. Well, I would say that you grew the team from 1 to 7 engineers. Yeah. Because at that point, you owned a lot more than what you're giving yourself credit for. Because, like, again, like I said, you may want to try to focus it in terms of like individual contributor things, but in terms of like software engineering, like you probably did a lot to onboard those team members. Like you prioritized the work, you had to lay out the milestones yourself. Um, it's quite difficult to do that as a single person. So I would definitely like see if you can't articulate that through better words other than mentored, because that's more than mentorship. I would say like a mentorship is more like, you gave someone advice, but I don't think that that was the scope of what you did for the team there. So that's something that you can note for that. All right. So I would move POC implementations further down unless there's a particular reason why you want to have it up. But if that's the case, you may just want to have it further up because of specific work that you did around stream processing and, pub sub models or event driven models. And I would have like a sentence that's more general in that sense, and then move POCs further down, proof of concepts further down, because you did some work that was like actual deployments and services in production. You did like a lot of productionalization, and I would focus on that more than any POC implementations. And I see what you were doing here, but I would break it up a little bit more. And same thing with like sentences where you're doing kind of like two things here. Like you added video support to iOS applications, and you like I would just say instead of implemented chucked upload to support larger files, like you can just replace this word with optimized. Like you optimized for dropped connections, and then utilize bits protocol, upload protocol. Like if it's relevant, they will know. So I would just condense it. Is there anyone claim a bit more credit? Yes. No, you don't want to overstate, but you do want to give yourself credit for, work that required a lot of thought and a lot of leadership, personal responsibility, because those are the people that help guide like the best work for other people. And it's good to articulate that, especially at your level. Like you want to be able to say that you've had a lot of experiences. This sounds beyond like a senior level kind of responsibility. Like it is 100% beyond a senior level software engineer's responsibility or expectations. And you don't I actually don't get that from reading this resume. So there's a little bit there that you can do. All right. So I hope that is helpful. Let's continue on. Led a team of 3 engineers in development of company's endpoint management offering. Provided consultations to teams to resolve threading and synchronization issues. So for the second bullet point, I would say something like coordinated across, the organization to um, optimize for latency, you know, or performance, utilizing synchronization, like pub sub, whatever it is that you used, threading, multi-threading, sorry, not synchronization, threading, pub sub technologies, right? So like use the same sort of template that I shared earlier with like, you know, impact or what did you do? Impact technology, right? So do it that way, and then you'll get what you need from there from that. That first bullet point too, if you don't want to talk about the team of engineers or you don't want to get too specific or you don't want to focus on that and you want to focus more on your the contributor aspects, you can say something like, led the successful delivery of, um, op, OpSWAT's endpoint management platform, and that hints that you were a leader and that you worked on platforms specifically, and then you provided optimizations around performance, and then you redesigned, the company's products and solutions, while, leading a team, that kind of thing, and that's a very concise way to talk about your experience at OpSWAT, if I'm saying that company name correctly. Yeah, same thing with in here, like for your earlier experiences, you can either remove them, like you can remove this last one if it doesn't say much, because your recent experiences will always overshadow your previous experiences, right? But I do like what you said around Morgan Stanley, and especially around compliance. So if you want to reduce this to one or to at most 3 lines, this experience to at most 3 lines, you could probably do it. I would just talk about implementing systems or creating solutions in, a financial institute, like, within fintech, and talk about like the compliance aspects of it and, PII data, that sort of stuff. And you can actually really consider it. You think it's smaller with each iteration. Yeah, I would just go ahead and cut this to 3 lines if you can. And then this last one at Highland, you can just even remove. I don't particularly see anything that you don't have as like a that you may not have as relevant experience further up somewhere else. And if it comes up for any role, you can talk about how you did it or add it back in. But yeah, probably not. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Peg a pig with an amazing resume. Once again, thank you everyone for submitting your resume. This was super fun for me to do. That's a good idea. hmm So, all right, that's all I had for resumes. I think. Very appreciated. Oh, no worries, no problem. Thank you for being here. All right, so that's it for resume reviews tonight. And maybe for the next 30 minutes, we can talk about certain myths about programming and about software engineering and career development. So I said earlier today I had a speaking event today, and I really wanted to. It was a micro event focused for students, and I really wanted to think like. what would I say to myself as a student, like graduating and thinking about career development and if things make sense and how do I even go about the process? And I was like, I don't like what do I even say? And I shared some. I ended up like deciding that I wanted to actually bust myths. Like I was like, I think this is good because I had so many preconceived notions about like software engineering, even about computer science before I majored in it, right? Like, I can't imagine everyone else who's simply interested in it, what kinds of maybe like stigmas or rumors that they've heard, and it's impacted how they think about their career and their development. And there's some nice things about that. So I wanted to do that. And Big J's in here. Yay. 30 minutes of 30 minutes of myths. Yeah, myths and facts. Thank you for the compliment on the overlays, Vincent. Thank you for the follow. How's it going, everyone? I appreciate you all for being here. All right. I hope everyone's having a good night. If it's Wednesday, happy Wednesday. If it's Thursday, happy Thursday. All right. So I had four myths that I shared about career development specifically, and then we can go into some programming ones, which I think would be pretty fun. But specifically around career development, I had four that I pointed out and that I have here, so I'll read them out loud. The first one is that career advancement means this role, X role, senior role, architect role, and I actually believed this a lot when I first joined. Like I wanted to go from like associate or entry level or baby level or amateur into mid and then senior, and then like, oh, if you're a senior you get to architect, and then maybe you'll be principal. And I used to think that that path was like for me, and that's what I was going to follow because that was what was well defined and that was really the only track. And I thought like, oh, if I'm going to be at this company and I actually like it, that's the only track that I can follow. And I really proved myself wrong in that sense, especially as I grew and I decided that I wanted to, like, I was attracted to the opportunities and the work that, like, I really enjoyed, and when you're attracted to that, like, you know what you're doing. You're going so fast. I missed the part to take notes. Oh my gosh. Well, I do have notes, but like I said, the first myth is career advancement means XYZ role. And it's not true because there are so many things that opportunities in tech that a lot of people don't realize, from management to product management, even design opportunities or facilitator opportunities, professional consulting, um, DevRel, developer relations, right? Like data science. And if you start where you start and you think that that's the only path, you'll get trapped in the sense that it's a path, but it doesn't mean anything to you after a certain while. And I realized that like the things that I was actually drawn to, those were the opportunities that led me to the roles that I had. Like at the end of the day, you're not your title, you're not your work, and I really had to learn that through understanding that like career advancement looks like something different for everyone. Like it honestly does. And for me, like each role that I took, even when it wasn't like the senior version, it led me into like more of an advancement into myself, like more of like a deepening within my own life of like the skills that I enjoy, the things that I prioritize as values. And that was true especially in terms of community. Like when I started as a individual contributor, when I started as a software engineer, I wanted to go the software engineer route, and that made it super hard for me to actually find time to be a part of the community, to do sessions like this, like because I was working all the time. I was trying to learn all of the technology programming. In my head I was like, I'm going to be an architect, so I have to learn all the things and even more of the things than everybody else because I have to stand out. And I pushed myself so hard to advance in my career through a path that didn't even make sense for me, like didn't even align to what I really wanted to focus on. And it wasn't until I started like talking to other people, letting myself like have the opportunities that I was drawn to, that I found like other roles that I didn't even think of. Like I didn't even think that I was going to be an engineering manager. But now that I'm in it, I feel like, wow, this is such growth for me to be able to help other people. This is so much growth for me to be able to help my team deliver the best work that they can. And that's always been a strength of mine. Like I've always been able to come onto projects and onboard very quickly, and really like help set out milestones and again, like I enable accomplishments for my team, and I've always been able to do that, and that's what is one of my strengths. And regardless of the role that I'm in, that's what I get hired for, to be able to come on to spaces and ensure that there is success in projects. And that looked like different things. That looked like being a project manager. That looked like being a consultant. That looked like being a software engineer. That looked like now being a manager, right? So career advancement isn't what we always think that it is. It's like more of just being us. And I went through that path too. Like I was actually reading like past blog posts that I wrote where I was talking about like learning about my strengths, knowing what it is that I am good at, what I bring to the table. And I remember reading it, and I had different parts each year. I wrote a blog post where I talked about like what it meant to actually be a part of my strengths. And I realized like after a certain point that my strengths are just mine. Like it's just like anybody else's strengths. Like what they bring to the table is so unique and so powerful that it really like the personal strengths journey, or leaning into the opportunities that you're drawn to, that's just really about being you. That's really about being able to answer the questions of like what do you like to do, how do you want to grow your career. That's only questions that you can answer. D Valley, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. All right, so I have my second myth that I wanted to bust about career development, and then we can bust programming myths as well. Was that it's this idea of I need the right mentor or I need the right manager to be able to succeed or to be able to advance in my career. So this is something that is nice to have. Like it's nice to have mentors. It's nice to have people in your community see you for the things that you are doing to support you, to empower you through your strengths. But it is not the one size fits all solution to being able to answer questions, like I said, about what you like to do. Because when you are waiting for someone to, answer your career development questions, you're waiting for someone to give you all the right answers or to have you advance in your career, you're effectively leaving it up to someone else to answer these questions for you, to own the journey for you. And it just is not, um, it's not, it doesn't lead you to the results that you think that it may lead you to. And that's something that I had to learn as well is, when you start out, and oftentimes too, like for minority groups, they're over mentored. You're over mentored, but you don't quite do any of the work, right? You're spending so much time trying to gain people's mindsets and experiences that you're not able to integrate it for yourself and answer your questions for yourself. And I think it's great to have like mentors and managers that support you and can give you their perspective, especially from the standpoint of like getting feedback or even understanding the value that you bring to the table and how it relates to the business. But it's not a requirement in order to advance in your career and to own, like I said, the questions that you're able to answer around what it is that you want to focus on. Give me tip as a manager or no job at all. Oh, that's so sweet, Big J. That's the second myth that I wanted to bust. Is fairly quick because I really did expand on that first one about career advancement meaning XYZ role. Um, Again, like I said, you get to own your path, and every career conversation that you have with a manager or a mentor, you have to lead that. You really do. And I tell people this a lot because it's also said in management trainings as well that managers don't own engineers' careers as much as we want to, as much as we care. Like we want to mommy everyone, or daddy everyone. We really can't. Like we can guess what people want. We can listen to people. We can pull out themes, but we can't answer like what it is that you're meant to do. So it's good to do that. Confused cat. Hey, Jan. Hey, Ariel. This is good. Okay. That's helpful. This is a slowed version of the session that I delivered earlier today. My session was a 10-minute conversation. It was a lightning talk. So I had to, I couldn't expand in the ways that I wanted to. So I thought I'd bring it in here. Valentine says, "What did you eat today?" I had a couple of things. I still have a salad today too. But I had Chipotle. What else did I have for lunch? Oh, I had soup. I had soup, Chipotle, and lunch. By the way, friends, like take care of yourselves during this month. Don't be skipping lunch. Make sure you get enough rest. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, so I just want to let you all know that in terms of mental health, it's always important to check in with your body, and oftentimes it can be really easy to just skip a meal or work on the next exciting thing and not take care of yourselves. So that's what I like to do. Soup, Chipotle. Yeah, soup was for lunch. Chipotle was for dinner. And then I got a little bit of Burger King, which I usually eat on stream, but not for these career development clinics. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right. So the third myth, do I have a link? I do. If you scroll up yeah, there's I think the mental health command is the link, and then there's a QR code like right here which is the link to it. And proceeds will go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I will also be doing another stream later this month that's solely dedicated to mental health awareness. And we're going to do like a bunch of mental health activities that are going to be really cool. I want to do some giveaways too. So that'll be really exciting. Thank you, ZT, for posting the extra information. Yeah, this month is all about mental health awareness, and like conversations like this is really good in terms of mental health too, because oftentimes we don't have like the right spaces to be able to vent about work or to talk about things that are on our minds. Like even at work, like sometimes like I don't have people at work to talk about very specific things, right? Like and that can be really hard or isolating for people. So that's what these spaces are meant for. Like from a perspective of like an engineering manager, I wanted to be on here because I wanted to tell you all, like, if I ever saw it, if you all tell me stories of things that suck or things that you're very proud of, like, I want to be there for you. So that's what these spaces are for. Is just to do like these kinds of check-ins around career development, and even just life in general. So so glad that you all are here. All right, let's break down that third myth around career development. This one is about kind of the mindset. So when I'm ready, I'll step into the next role. And I like to talk about this myth. I'll let you all, I'll drink some more water and I'll let you all write it down. When I'm ready, I'll step into my next role. This one, I wanted to call out because I actually saw this a lot within the coffee chats that I used to host. I hosted over 10 coffee chats within over 2 weeks in January. So I had you all like talk to me about anything career development related. We had a little coffee chat about it. And I saw so many people waiting to feel ready, or even just saying like, oh, like even the most accomplished people. I'm not 50. Oh my gosh, $50. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, we're like 14% of the way towards our goal. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Yay! I know. I have like little rewards too. So if anyone wants to claim like any rewards for the donations, I have like fun rewards. There's even this little thing that I did where I was like, I'll sing and dance Baby Shark for donations. So again, like I said, this all goes to a great cause for Mental Health Awareness Month. So there's that. Infernius is in here. Hello, welcome. Wholesome thought. Aw, yeah. Can we do a big shout out to whoever just donated? Like, let's do a little love emote or something. I freaking love that. Thank you so much. That's so crazy. This is the first time that I've ever like done something like this, a little charity situation stream. Um, like I mean, I know that we're new and whatnot to streaming. Sing and dance Baby Shark, yeah. Okay, for the 50 dono. Okay. At the end of the stream we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah. Okay. So, the third myth we were talking about, when I'm ready, I'll step into my next role. I see this so many times. People who have done all of the work, who have an education around like everything that they need to have, like done the experience, and still will say, I think I should go back to school, or I think I should look up this thing before I even apply for the role, even if before I try anything. Um, and I get really disappointed in that because I see this person with so much potential, with all of the preparation, but still like waiting, this person waiting, or these people who are waiting to who are waiting to feel ready to take the next steps. And the truth is, like, your body will always tell you, like, your mind will always try to keep you used to the things that it's used to. Like, it wants to keep you safe. Like, that's why you feel nervous. That's why you feel doubt, is because you're just used to operating at a certain level and your mind wants to stay there, right? And I say this all the time, new level, new devil, right? Every time you step into something bigger, new challenges, new things, right? And you can prepare, which is great, which is what you're supposed to do, but sometimes you're never going to feel ready. And so if you're waiting to feel ready to step into your next role because you think like, "Oh, I need to feel more confident or I need to feel like I can do this," you're most likely never going to be able to feel like you're ready for this. You know who you are. Yeah. So, I just want to encourage you all to take the shots, like take the opportunities where they are, acknowledge the work that you've put in, because you're probably not giving yourself enough credit, especially if you're here in the stream. You're interested. You missed 100% of the shots you count. If you missed 100% of the shots you do take, you're doing it wrong. Yes. Ariel redeeming the channel. Blurp. Yes. So I like to talk about this because again, like you all are probably not giving yourself enough credit. And I see so many times when people feel like, oh, I have to learn this one, I have to learn more algorithms, I have to learn more data structures. Yeah, you do. But it's not often the barrier for you to be able to become the role or step into your next opportunity or even try to jump into your next opportunity. I want to share this because like I hear it all the time in management too. Like, a lot of times when you're stepping into a role that you've never stepped into, almost all, like literally all the time, you don't know what it looks like because you've never done it. That's the truth. Like, we can expand on this concept a little bit more because I think sometimes it's hard to break out of this mindset, right? But you don't know what it looks like because you've never done it before. Like it's the same thing with any other activity. Like, I can guess if I'm going to do well, like based off of other experiences, right? But I don't actually know what it looks like until I go and do it. And that's why I encourage people to just go for it, even if you come at it from a perspective of like, I'm only going to try this for 6 months. Actually, Jeff Bezos has this concept of reversible doors or reversible decisions. And those are the kinds of decisions that you can make and just step out of if you decide that it's not for you. So Rick says, it's so refreshing to hear this, but I hold myself back so much by assuming I need to learn to get better on skills before I apply to a role or try a new project. Yes, 100%. Infernus, we are talking about some myths around career development and software engineering in general. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. But we're busting some myths tonight. Yeah, it can be really hard, especially when it comes to tech, right? Because there's so much gatekeeping. There's so much like, oh, there's all these new technologies and all of these new opportunities, like, and oftentimes you need to like what you need isn't more skills oftentimes or more knowledge. It's just to be able to lean into the skills that you have around being able to come onto a project, ask the right questions, look up the right things to be able to solve problems. Like those are just core skills, right? And so I tell people like prep those things, like give yourself the right foundations to be able to do those things. But don't let it hold yourself. Like, don't let it like uh make like pause you, stop you, like deter your momentum. And oh, I was also saying Jeff Bezos actually has this idea of reversible doors, reversible decisions, decisions that are not really life altering and you can back out of if something goes wrong. Um, an example of something that's not reversible is like having a baby, right? Like having a family. That's something that's quite hard to pull yourself out of, right? Versus like joining a new project, trying a new role, applying to this job. That's reversible. Like you don't like something, you can move on. And that's something that I was pretty um, that sort of hit home for me a little bit when I heard about it. So I wanted to share that with you all. So hopefully that can help you. All right, the fourth myth that I want to bust around career development is if I want to advance, I need to do XYZ. So a lot of times, and you'll hear stories about this oftentimes in our space, full screen one, let me figure everything out in a very this is the one screen with everything set up. So I'm just keeping it here. Oh my gosh. Ariel says I was not prepared for this talk. All right, I can at least move myself quite a quite a bit. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. What's XYZ? insert verb. So I'll talk about this since I haven't talked about it. Um okay. So I wanted to share this myth because a lot of times I'll hear things like, "Oh, I need to stay at this company for another year," or "I need to be here. I need to leave here," or "I need to, I need to get the certification, or I need to get this education so I can do blah blah blah, or I have to do this before this so that this is like this." And a lot of times people get trapped by this, especially like in terms of goal setting too. Like, you're like, oh, I want this one role, so I have to do this and this. And oftentimes it's like a very fixed mindset in terms of even like playing to your strengths. I talk about this a lot because I used to fall into this pitfall too. I see a lot of people set goals that don't mean anything to them. And they don't yeah, dang, even dependencies. Yeah, even being able, that's why XYZ. um that's why it can be really hard because you lay out this path or this plan and now you've set out a goal or a series of milestones that you're hoping to achieve, and the end you've lost the end outcome of like, what do I actually want to feel at the end of this, or what is it that I actually want to work towards? Like, why do I care? What are my values? Like, what am I prioritizing in this journey? And I try to tell even my own engineers this because it's so easy to look at a career ladder and be like, well, we have to follow these steps and do these things and showcase these aspects. But really, like, if I've noticed one thing about this is that if you really do focus in on what you want to be doing, there's always a way to tie it back to the business because it's inherently valuable that you know what it is that makes you feel good and you're doing it, and you're utilizing your skills in a meaningful way. Um, Jay Sold says, hi. Vinny says, what's your idea about Vue, the framework? All right. So this touches like two things, like I said, if you want to advance, I need to do like this fixed mindset, right? Of I need to do this, and this to advance my career. That is related to goal setting. And then it's also touches upon this concept of uniqueness. And I want to talk about this because it's something that we all notice is like talented people doing what they do and being recognized for it, right? Like we see that with athletes, artists, singers, and it's the same in our profession. We see what uh, what it means to be a good architect, what it means to be a good manager. These are things that we know are good because these are people who are working towards their passions, towards what they like in doing. They're in alignment and it feels good and it actually looks good for us. It's actually appealing. And that's what I want to see in my teams. Like that's where I want to get people. And I continuously like map that back into the business as like a leader, right? And you can do this on your own as well. Like I used to do this with managers who were more hands off, right? Or I would it's called managing upwards, but I would do this with my managers as well. Like I would and I do this now. I manage like upwards people's perceptions, people's thoughts. But you know, if you're trapped in this mindset of I need to do XYZ, you've now eliminated what you want to be doing and your own, you know, concept of uniqueness and what you should be doing and not what someone else tells you you should be doing. So that's a little bit of the myth there or a little bit of the conception there. Vinny, we can close out about conversations with you. I do want to focus on myth busting today. Can I ask a question? I've been struggling with a decision recently. For sure. Yeah, no worries, Jay Sold. If you want to drop in your question, we can get to it. Those are my four career myths. The first one was around career advancement means a particular role. The second one was I just need the right mentor, the right manager. The third one was when I'm ready, I'll step into my next role. And the fourth one is if I want to advance, I need to do XYZ. All right. So those are the four myths that I had prepared. And I hope that helps some people kind of think about career development in a different way. You know, I think it's one of the areas that doesn't get a lot of attention and doesn't quite get a lot of support because there are not a lot of people who've thought about their own career development. And so it's harder for some people to articulate some of the concepts and even discuss some of the challenges around it. Because even as you experience challenges, it can be difficult to actually have like practical tips or solutions that help guide your thought process or your mindset around making career decisions. And I actually really like the fact that Jay Sold says asked like, "Hey, can I ask a question? I'm struggling with the decision recently." Like that struggle with the decision making is like at the heart or at the core, like a lot of career development questions, right? It's like at the crux of career development. People who are struggling with making decisions, making aligned decisions for their career, even in their lives too. Like it's common everywhere. Like you know, sometimes we like to think like career is so different from how we make decisions in life, but it really isn't. A lot of the themes and values that I hold dear in my career, my professional life, I also hold dear in my personal life and in my social life, right? With my friends, my family, the people that I interact with, those all matter. And I bring in pieces of it in there. So I will read Jay Sold's question. Um, they say, okay, so I'm new to programming. I kind of just started a few weeks ago, and I'm trying to figure out which language to go with. I eventually I want to eventually get into game development, and I've been messing around with Python, C Sharp, and C++, but can't decide which one I want to go with. Any advice? Oh, Keith is in here too, saying I'm currently making a game that started in C++. I've gone back to C Sharp to get the backend developed easier. Then I'll choose Unity or UE5. Yeah, in terms of like picking a language, and this is something that we can talk about as well, is like it's more of a tool to be able to accomplish like your goals at the end of the day. So if you want to get into game development, I would select like the languages or the common languages that are used in game development. Um, if you're starting out, one language that's particularly useful for people who are starting out, right, is Python. I know a couple of people like to specialize in JavaScript as well, but I would say it's smart to pick one language, learn it, and then see get some at least some depth in that language so that you can utilize it. Okay, so UE5 is C++ and Unity is C Sharp. Yeah. So ZT says Python or C Sharp would be a good start. Yeah. I think Python would be a good start too because it has not a lot of object oriented, but enough for you to be able to kind of like bridge towards C++ plus plus if you need to. I'm not familiar with C Sharp to be honest. But yeah, Python is a fun one to do. Yeah. But good luck, JSold. It sounds like you have some goals there. That's super interesting. I know that there's a lot of game developers in this category as well. C Sharp is great for game development. All right, Ariel has given her stamp of approval for C Sharp as well. Hacker Gem says, I just graduated with a degree in game design. I'm looking up job descriptions of companies that want you to use certain technologies. You can't go wrong with C++ or C Sharp, but I really loved using JavaScript for browser games. And Umbroli says C++ has large barriers for entry, for sure. It is very old and it hasn't had the benefit of modern languages. C++ is easier and there's a huge community around tutorials, etc. Okay, very nice. I know Python is also very general and it can be, you can utilize it in various fields like data science, machine learning, um, and it sounds like C sharp may be like a really good opportunity to kind of target that game development specifically. Yeah. Wish C++ plus plus got the same attention. Yeah, from what I've heard from C++ plus plus is, and also like what I know is like, in terms of object-oriented languages, it's not quite the easiest to start with. But it's not to say you can't start in the most difficult ways, right? But it's just about like having a good experience and enjoying the process. I used to like that's another thing too, was like I used to force myself through like harder learning paths because I thought it would be more rewarding at the end. All I was doing was just making myself suffer. Yeah. Take it from yeah, I don't know. Take it from someone who did many more courses and many more years of education than I needed to just because I thought I thought it would be more rewarding. But, think about that outcome of game development and pick the language that is going to take you the furthest in terms of where you want to be. Um, and it seems like quite a bit of folks say that C sharp is really great for um, particularly like the game development industry. Did you get a master's in CS? I did get a master's in CS. Yeah. I started work full time and then I got a master's in CS at the same time. Yeah. It took a couple of years. Um, but I did it. I did it. Yeah. And it was really to get like a more rounded view of computer science, like take a lot of the coursework that I didn't initially in my undergrad. I was a computer engineering major. So, yeah. I went to a top 12 CS program and then I did top 10 master's CS program afterwards and it was fine. But it was a lot more work for me to kind of pursue like that engineering aspect initially because you essentially had to take like a lot more classes. Yeah. Sassy Kumquat says, hello, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, languages can be learned afterwards too. Like a lot of the languages borrow very similar paradigms or similar rules. So even if you don't necessarily understand the syntax, you do understand the semantics and some of the language or terminology and design of those languages. And there's actually like a field in computer science that specifically studies programming languages and compilers and how they're created, right? Like the people who literally work on Java or contribute on C sharp, right? There's subfields within computer science that focus specifically there. Hans says there are similar concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, object oriented, right? Um, Even just async processing. Nowadays, too, with older languages like Java, newer versions are integrating additional paradigms, right? Additional programming like concepts from other languages into itself. So there's some kind of interweaving within different technologies nowadays, which is pretty interesting. And you see that within frameworks as well, which like build on top of languages. So you have these core languages like Python, JavaScript, and then you have additional frameworks, right, like TensorFlow that specialize in particular areas of development, right, and help you get a lot further along in terms of that development life cycle. So a lot of times, and this is actually a myth too, is like once you learn one language, you're kind of done, right? There's so many new languages being built nowadays, but yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to like gain additional skills within the space. And I like to say this too, like in terms of being able to talk about your experience, it becomes less and less about the tools oftentimes and more about like how you think about technology and how you design systems. And it's actually quite, it actually gets to be pretty fun because you get to talk about things from a project standpoint or from an execution standpoint, and it doesn't always have to be centered around languages. But yeah, a lot of times for people who are starting out, you like to focus on the tools and like what language are you using, right? Because it's something that's fairly easy to talk about, right? It's an outcome, it's something we can target. Or it's an output, right? So there's some things there. Everywhere I looked online, I would get an answer, so I figured I'd come in and ask for sure. Thanks for asking, JSold. I appreciate it. Again, like the space, is great for us to be able to answer questions like this. Like it's we're crowdsourcing, right? And I appreciate everyone who jumped in there to share their own insights as well. And yeah, it's good. Thank you. Raleigh says also building a tooling surrounding each language is different. The build tooling. Yep, the build tooling, how version collisions work. Yeah, there's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of like rules or like ways that a programming language is set up. And again, like programming languages like C, even Python. Python builds off of certain C libraries like NumPy in Python is actually very performant, and this is why people use NumPy in Python versus Python lists or Python primitive language primitive primitive objects because it's special. It's actually like compiled in C, so your performance is a lot better. So once you know like the underlying technology within certain languages, you can actually understand how to optimize the code and optimize your design for specific functions and abilities. So it's nice in the sense that like Automa doesn't like Nugget. Yeah, I really did not. um, so or Nougat. Nougat, nugget. I like to say nugget. Anyway, maybe it's because I have nuggets upstairs. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, right. There are certain languages that are low level languages and then high level languages, and there's various levels of abstraction. And I think that's another myth too, is like that certain technologies will eliminate having to like understand certain levels of computation, or it'll completely eliminate certain situations or considerations that you have to make. Oftentimes, like yeah, that's true on the surface, but it just pushes concerns or handles concerns at a higher or lower level. Like that's all program, like that's all this design and work that we do is about, is like being able to understand like, oh, these are some of the design considerations, and then this is how we deal with it at varying levels. So I like to think about that. And if you all actually want to know more about like the design considerations or the things that enterprises think about, there's actually a really good OG book about enterprise design. Let me take a drink of water before I lose my voice. Strongly typed languages, yeah. And that's good to know your preferences too. Um, The yeah, the languages that aren't strongly typed can often be very difficult to deal with and debug and understand. Ariel says NumPy is greater than Pandas. Hey, don't talk bad about pandas. To people that were doing a bachelor's in computer engineering a while back in college but didn't graduate and can't seem to get any good job out there, is it too late to go back? I don't think it's ever too late to go back. Um, but I think there's also a lot of opportunity to move forward if you decide that you want to move forward as well. Um, you know, there are ways to still apply for roles and still like pursue a computer engineering degree. Like yeah, under education, like in your resume, you still have you still have a resume. I would still encourage you to have like a resume. If getting a job is your goal, then I would say go and pursue that and have like a resume. And you can leave your education out if you don't want to, but if you want to have it there, you can have like where you're going, and then you can put present on the right or something like that. Like like you can have a little date where it says present. Oftentimes like I leave out the dates that I went to college or went to went through my programs because I don't think it's relevant. And if people want to know, they can ask, right? But that's something that you can think about, Redley. I hope that helps you. Also, the nice thing about pursuing computer engineering, and I'm not sure where you are in your program or in your degree, but the nice thing is that you can kind of sit in the middle of hardware and uh, computer science or software engineering. Jaisal, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you so much. Do you mind sharing the enterprise book you were talking about? Yes, Han, I have that link. I will share it with you. It's actually in the Discord. Hee hee. Friends, if you want to join the Discord, it's a good community there. We talk about tech and career, but also like fun things like we play music in the voice channels. We have like a ton of really cool emotes as well. So if you like the little emotes in here, in the Twitch chat, if you're a subscriber, you can use the emotes. There's like all of them literally in Discord. And it's super cool. So y'all can hang out there as well. I'm gonna try to find this link. Here it is. Here it is. You can probably find a digital version. You did not hear this from me. You can find a digital version online, probably. Like I said, you didn't hear it from me. You ever like the professors that are like, you can find this online, but you did not hear it from me, or they just tell you go and buy it, and then you're like, I'm gonna find this online. Anyway, if you all are scrappy, then you know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's the link, and maybe someone can copy it and reply to Han's message right there because I did not do that. uh, yeah, compile time errors are a lot easier to debug than runtime errors for sure. Yeah, allegedly. Digital version online. I'm watching you. Have a Discord channel that has your book list. Oh, true. Oh my gosh, you all! I've read so many books. Oh, I would love to tell you my favorites. I used to run book club at my last few jobs. That's how passionate I am about it. So much less so nowadays, though, unfortunately. I used to listen to books all the time when I was traveling for work. I had a I had a role for a little while where I had to travel like 4 days out of the 5 days of work. And I would literally listen to like any software engineering book on the way to and fro. But yeah, you all like continue your pursuit of knowledge and curiosity and all the really great things because all that stuff pays off. All that stuff pays off. Drop your travel essentials. We need to have. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be a fun stream. And Jacob says, I wonder what world that was. That's so funny. Hey, what's up? King of Anime is here too. Yes. Tomorrow we're doing tier lists. So it would be cool to do it would be cool to do travel essentials tier list. Okay, what do you actually need? All right, I'm about to tell you guys. So I'm losing my voice. But anyway, I thought it would be fun to do that. I'll do like, I don't know, we'll maybe do a workplace related one too. Yeah, it's a fun stream tonight, tomorrow. And yeah, like I said, I'm a variety streamer. These career clinics happen every Wednesday. I also take resume review requests. So if you want to do that, I save them for Wednesday. Comfy clothes is S tier. I know. Slippers are S tier, okay? I'll tell you all now. Yes, and then also today we have, or this month, we're raising money for the Mental Health Awareness Month, and the proceeds go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And there will be a dedicated stream at some point where we just do fun, wholesome activities related to mental health. And I'm excited for that. Like, still planning it, but if you all, yes, no towel S tier. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh, this is great. King of Anime says, I have a passport and I'm determined to travel more. That's for sure. I've been waiting to travel too. I've been so excited about like I've been trying to get like a like company sponsored like trip to meet my team and things like that because I think it helps so much with just like being able to connect with your team. Take me with you. Valentine says, take me with you. Yeah, it is tomorrow. That's funny. That's funny. Alrighty. So, yeah, I guess one more stigma to leave you all with and like myth with you all is oh, you all are asking about my team? Yeah, my team is fully remote and we're all along the East Coast, but I know of teams that are, in various coasts. But yeah, my team is on the East Coast and we're fairly small, so I'm trying to make it happen. Trying to make it happen. Keith is in there. Okay. Shout out to Keith, by the way. Can we do a shout out to Keith? He streams as well. All right. So, uh, another myth that I was gonna share that I forgot about. Why did I already forget about it? Jeez. Oh, well, I forgot my myth. The last myth for the night. I don't even know what to say. Anyway, anyway. Yums. Sad face. Oh my gosh, we're ending the stream with Baby Shark for, the donations that we've pulled for in just one day. So I appreciate you all so much. This is so great. Um Currently working on my website for my art, true. Make your team extend to Australia so that I can see how they perform. That's funny. No myth. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll share one. I'll share one. I'll share one. Software development is a predictable, linear process. I found this online. It's called 10 Common Software Myths Dispelled. And I just wanted to share this one because there's a lot of stakeholders. And oh, that's the thing I wanted to say was that you don't need a team to develop, like, or yeah, like that, team members don't matter and that communicating doesn't matter with your team. That was the myth. I don't think anyone believes that. Well, maybe some people believe that. uh, yeah, that you're all alone. And I thought that when I joined, like I thought that when I started my career, like I wanted to do everything by myself. I wanted to, like I wanted to take ownership and hold everything for myself. I didn't even want to make friends at work. I didn't I didn't approach it from that perspective, and I was so wrong about that, and that was one of the things that I didn't get right. So Keith says, say that again. I had two myths. The first one is software development is a predictable and linear process, and the second one was, um, I can do all of this work myself. I'm not here to make friends. I used to have that thought early on. The reason why software development isn't a predictable or linear process is because it's a life cycle. Sometimes there's a challenge and we have to go all the way back to the design phase, or we have to go back to a feature, or we have to debug an issue and we have to go around and redesign something else. We have to go talk to a stakeholder for additional requirements. Maybe a stakeholder is telling us we should prioritize something else. um, it's true for machine learning too. Like, maybe we develop a model and the results don't look good. So now we have to look at the data. After we look at the data, maybe the performance is still bad and we have to think about a different model design. And there's so many different phases of software development. So, if you all feel like, oh, 1 week is better than others, or I feel like trash one day and I feel really great the next, just know that it's really normal. And even people who who have a lot of experience and they go on to a project, things still can feel frustrating because software development isn't easy, and it's not that linear process that we think it is, of like, oh well, now I know a lot more things and I'm never gonna not know things. It's constantly being thrown back into that beginner phase, wherever we go, and that's an experience that I think a lot of people sometimes are really hard on themselves for. So that's one myth, and then the second myth was around I'm not here to make friends. Um, I don't know why I had this I don't know. I do kind of think I know why. Oftentimes, like, if you're going through your degree program or you're doing really anything, you're like, well, I only know, like, I only got myself, or like I can't depend on the team. But the best teams, the best high performing teams, the best software is built with people who understand and who communicate with you. Yeah, great products are built by great teams. Yeah, great teams. And it's so much more fun to be able to pair program and get to know someone and their own thoughts and processes in a work setting. So I encourage you all to also think about that in your own career development, because oftentimes it's not about who know like it's not about what you're doing, but about like what people say about you behind closed doors. And I realized that too, as like I'm also a part of like promotion reviews and career advancement conversations, right? Like, the people who stand out are the ones that don't stand out because they don't stand out because they're talking about themselves. Other people are talking about them, and that's how you can really like advance in your career as well. Not only from like that progression standpoint or that workplace standpoint, but also from the standpoint of being able to experience other people's or gain experience through other people and their experiences as well. And that's one reason why I enjoy events like this. I enjoy going to conferences. I enjoy meetups, because there are people who know a lot more about a particular subject just because they've spent like a certain amount of time dedicated to that space, right? So when they come on, um, they can integrate those experiences and bring them back to their teams and make it meaningful. And like I said, like, great products, right? So there's that, and just understanding there's a process and there's, yeah, that's the other thing too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're gonna be here forever. Domain knowledge, because I have so many ideas, but yes, wholesome thought. That's true. Never discount your domain knowledge. The reason why some of you all heard me say like, oh, it's good for you to call out specific things around healthcare or fintech if you've worked in those spaces, is because that's domain knowledge. That's valuable. And a lot of times people will discount that and only try to focus in on like certain technologies, like I said. But again, like, knowing certain domains or certain areas is really valuable. Like, there's certain things that I know about the media industry now because I'm an engineering manager for a media company that I can take to other media companies that set me apart from a regular like a regular manager or a regular engineer, right? Is because I've worked on these problems. I've worked on certain systems before. If you've worked on particular platforms, if you used particular languages, you have domain gain expertise in those areas to be able to have conversations that some teams are hiring for. They're looking for that specifically. So you want to be able to utilize that to your advantage as well. So I hope like the resume reviews help you all with that. I hope some of the myths that we busted today were really helpful. To end the stream tonight, we are gonna do Baby Shark for the for the kind donations tonight. So I don't really know Baby Shark, but I'm about to sing it and dance it. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yep. So I'm gonna pull up the video. I'm gonna do a Baby Shark thing. Um, like I said, for every 50, we're gonna do a Baby Shark. I'm trying not to get copyrighted, so this will just be me doing the Baby Shark dance. It's a very complicated dance. Oh my god. I don't even know what I'm doing. All right. Let me move over. Oh my god. Okay, you all better do it with me too. A little Baby Shark situation. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna move this over so I can see what's going on. Carefully choreographed for sure. Ugh. Wait, I just moaned into the mic. I just groaned into the mic. All right. Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark do 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 do, Amy shark do do do, mommy shark do do do, mommy shark, daddy shark do 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 do, shark. Something shark, daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark. Grandma shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo. I don't know what's supposed to happen on the bottom. Grandpa shark doo 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 doo, grandpa shark doo 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 doo, grandpa shark doo 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 doo. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, let's go hunt doo 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 doo. Let's go hunt doo 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 doo. Let's go hunt. Run away doo 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 doo. Run away. Run away, do do do. Oh no, I'm gonna knock something over. Run away. Safe at last. Da, 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 da. Safe at last. Da, 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 da. Safe at last. It's the end. Da, 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 da. It's the end. Da, 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 da. It's the end. Da, 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 da. It's the end. Baby shark. Oh my god. Not doing at it, just not doing it, just staring at you. I don't see enough movements. Oh my god. Don't worry, I'll get good at it if we keep hitting 8 out of 10. Thanks. How much must be donated for this video to send out to your team? Alright, if we hit that 500 goal. I'm gonna post it and then I'm gonna screenshot it in Discord so you all can have that. You're welcome. I'm out of breath. I need to cough. Oh my gosh. That is so freaking funny. Don't you worry, guys. We will get better at the shark dance. I'm about to watch and study this for the next $50 milestone that we hit. No. The video. No, it's just I'm bad at singing and dancing. Twist. It was not out of sync. I just have no rhythm. Oh my gosh. Ariel just so hydrated. I'm gonna look like 3 years younger. Oh my god. I'm lagging. My heart hurts. I gotta someone's gotta refresh. Oh my gosh. So, all right. We just did that. Oh my god. All right, friends. So that's it for the career development clinic for tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Let's go raid someone for tonight. This person's literally doing algorithms, like practicing algorithms. So if y'all care about that, may or may not be a clip on Discord. Oh my gosh, y'all are so funny. If you want to hang out with me in the Discord or on my Twitter, like I talk about career development all the freaking time. Well, not all the time, but you know, it's a good place to hang out with me. I hope you all have a good night and I'll see you next time. Damn, you're not the I'm not. Wait, why am I getting kickback? I had Chipotle tonight. Oh my goodness. I need more water. But all right, we're gonna raid Midnight Simon. If y'all are subbed here, drop some emojis. Like let's show some love. Like let's show up with our amazing energy and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for the follow, Valentine. Have a good night, everyone.